Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Becky and this is Brea Makes Art, and today I got my hair done at the Renaissance Festival. Isn't it cute? Cute little braids. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we're going to be doing a sketchbook tour. I'm done with half of this sketchbook, so I figured it's time to go ahead and see what I've been up to in here. Alrighty, here is the front cover here. You guys have seen this a few times. I'm using this sketchbook very differently than a lot of my other sketchbooks. You're going to see a lot more kind of ideation on other projects and things like that, which I haven't done a whole lot. I'm really liking using the sketchbook this way, so you'll probably see a lot more of that sort of thing. This is going to be a messier sketchbook than a lot of my sketchbooks, but like I said, I'm actually enjoying it a lot more. So anyway, this is the front here, just a couple of stickers. I just kind of blocked out my personal information there. And then this was the first page. It looks a little bit different than it did when I originally did it, because at one point I was sitting there with my Artix markers and just decided to color some of the circles in. And I like it with the colors in the circles instead of just kind of just blank circles. And then here is my sketchbook goals page. If you are interested in reading through them, please feel free to pause and read through them. I'm not going to read them to you. I honestly haven't looked back and read them in several months myself, and I probably should. There's going to be a lot of just kind of following tutorials that I found online. So this one was an ArtWad tutorial, kind of talking about how they think about drawing the face, and they kind of think about it like as a mask over top of the face, and just talking about breaking things down into simpler structures, which is something that I am trying to do more of so that I can draw better from imagination. Here I was kind of thinking about what I wanted my front page to look like. So I've got a couple of just ideas here, just really quickly tossed down there to see what it would look like if I did it on the front cover and put the black background in, just to kind of get a better idea. And as if you've been watching me for a while, you would know I've been wanting to draw dragons. So this is just me like working really hard on understanding how a dragon would be put together, like where things would connect and shapes and that sort of thing. This isn't a very good dragon, but it's here to help me kind of understand where things would connect, how it would work, that sort of thing. Some more just kind of trying to figure out like how I would want my dragons to look. The one thing that I was really struggling with is where the wings would connect and kind of how that muscular structure would look, that sort of thing. So I'm just kind of playing with some different ideas there. Looks like this was so taking some notes on the sun printing video that I did a while ago. More kind of dragon sketches here. I like this one. I think that I saw an image probably on Pinterest or something like that, and I was using that to try and figure out like how the dragon structure would look, and so just kind of putting that together and figuring out like muscles and things like that again, and just leaving notes to myself about what I liked, what I didn't like. Looks like this one was another let's see, Anatomy for Artists. Oh, Tom Fox Draws. There it is. So another YouTube video that I was watching and just kind of following along. Again, just kind of working on anatomy, working on, you know, simplifying things, that sort of thing. Looks like I just was sketching some random stuff here. I think this came from a book that I was looking at and just kind of copying things that I saw in there. Again, just kind of working on some of the basics so that I can draw from imagination more easily. Random image I saw on Pinterest, and I liked just kind of like this lined shading, that sort of thing. So I was just kind of playing with that. I've seen a lot of things like that and I like them, and so I just like wanted to play with that more. Just kind of looks like I was following along with some other tutorial here. I don't have notes about what tutorial it was, that sort of thing. Looks like I was just kind of thinking about what I like to see in artwork so that I can do that same thing in my own artwork. I was having a hard time trying to figure out what to draw, so I just decided to journal a little bit in here. Feel free to read it. There's nothing terribly interesting there. And then I recently purchased some window clings for my window to keep birds from running into them. And then I was thinking about dragons, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool if there was like these dragon window clings. And so I was just kind of designing what that might look like. Some of these are copied from silhouettes that I saw online. Some of these, yeah, looks like I've got 2 of these that were my own design. These 3 I saw a design on Pinterest and just kind of copied it. Just kind of playing with what dragons look like in silhouette, just so that I understand them better. This is one of those just kind of random blob challenges, and I like how some of these turned out. I've definitely made better ones. This one kind of fun. Yeah, looks like I grabbed another just kind of random prompt list and put in here. Looks like I didn't do a lot of these, so, but it's still here. I can always do more. This was me working on some things from the prompt list. These 2 were pictures that I had taken, and I was just kind of doing basically kind of a value study type of thing for the cavern prompt. I did the candle prompt. This was, there's someone on TikTok, I don't remember who it is, that's doing a lot of tutorials, and I was following along with one of their tutorials. Looks like I was doing eyes as one of the prompts from before, and I thought like eyes in a birch tree is maybe, I don't know, more just kind of like tutorials that I was following along. I think this was the same one. This is all feathers and like that. I was doing bones here. This is where I was thinking about the watercolor picture that I did a while ago, where I did the monstera leaves and kind of got darker and darker as I went up, and I did it in 2 different colors. I'll try to link these videos somewhere in here. I was thinking about what I wanted to do once I reached 500 subscribers, because I knew I was getting kind of close. So just kind of some ideas. I obviously didn't do some of these things, but you know, again, working on basic forms. More dragons. That's a terrible dragon's head. More kind of like dragons. Just some random line practice. Nothing terribly exciting here. This is a project that I haven't done yet, but I may or may not do. I've got a friend who is building a coffin for a friend of his, and he's got it painted white, and we kind of talked about me coming over and like painting the coffin. So this is just a lot of ideas of like what I would paint on that coffin for someone else to put in their yard. So a lot of these are ideas that, again, I found online and kind of copied, but then like I kind of continue on and use like some different elements from each of these to make up my own design. So like some of these are my own designs here. Like these are definitely copied from Pinterest, that sort of thing. This is a Pinterest one, all of those sorts of things. But like I just was doing that to try and get an idea of what I might actually want to do, what parts I liked about each of those designs. And then I continued here, and these are all kind of my own ideas here. And then I don't think I go back to that again, because we haven't talked to figure out like when that's going to happen, if it's going to happen, that sort of thing. I was thinking about doing like maybe layered paintings or textured paintings, things like that. So I was looking at a couple of different photographs that I had to do stuff. This one, obviously, this one wasn't from a photograph, but I ended up doing this with inks, and again, I will try to remember to link all these videos. I probably won't remember them, so feel free to look through my feed and you should be able to find all of these videos. I got thinking about some of the art supplies that I have laying around here that I haven't used up that I want to start using, and I've got these circular pieces of paper, they're watercolor paper, and I was trying to think of what would I do on those, because a circular canvas is kind of an odd shape, and so I was just kind of throwing down ideas of like, what might I do, and so I kind of landed on this, and I continue to think of about this later here. Well, we'll see it in a few pages. So this was just different ideas of how I might use those those round pieces of paper. This, again, I think I saw something that was like, hey, take an item and draw it. So I had this little plastic figurine of a knight, so I drew it, and then I was kind of playing with drawing it again in different angles, that sort of thing, to try and get the proportions right. And then it talks about just kind of playing with the proportions and kind of changing it, whatever. So I was doing some of that to exaggerate some shapes. I'm not good at the shape exaggeration. I definitely could have exaggerated some of this much more. And I'm actually looking at this and I'm not even sure what I exaggerated on it. So obviously I could do that better, but it is what it is. Here's where I was talking about the poisonous flowers, and I start with this kind of idea of how I might use those poisonous flowers. And then here's a lot of like just ideas around the poisonous flowers, how I might lay it out. So I definitely still want to do this. And the first one that I work on a lot is wolf's bane, and trying to figure out like what that layout looks like. So you're going to see a lot of stuff with regards to that. This is me actually just drawing a wolf's bane flower, and then just a lot of layout ideas here, more layout ideas, and just trying to figure out how I actually want this to look. I do still want to do this, I just haven't gotten back to doing it. More ideas, and then I ended up using the circle piece of paper and doing an ink painting that I really like how it turned out. And this was just kind of an idea of what I might want that to look like. Obviously this is not what I ended up doing, but there's just kind of more ideas about what I wanted to do on that. Again, another TikTok video that was talking about like how to break things down and how to draw things, that sort of thing. Took a little road trip over to Grand Rapids, got a couple stickers, put them in here. Fun. I was just thinking I was reading some of the Discworld books, which I really enjoy, and was thinking about the luggage and how I might draw the luggage. None of these are great, but you know, just kind of having fun in my sketchbook. Here's where I was thinking about how I might decorate my 500 subscribers plaque that I made for myself. And then this up here was playing with the dot mandala, the ink, just in my sketchbook here. More ideas on the award, lots of different plaque ideas. Obviously I didn't end up going with any of these. I did go with the phoenix. So here I was just kind of playing with how I might paint that phoenix. Obviously this isn't quite what I did either, but just kind of playing with it just to see what works, see what doesn't, that sort of thing. I don't know, pigeons, just because. These were mostly, these were from Pinterest. These were my own design, kind of working on exaggerating shapes. Still need to work on that more, but it is what it is. And then this is where I was thinking about continuing my 100 heads fantasy head challenge, and just kind of looking through the D&D playable races and writing down notes about like what each of those like physical characteristics are. Video ideas, trying to figure out like if I'm going to draw this from imagination, how the lip would kind of curl around like tusks or something like that, and just kind of working on that. I don't really like any of these, but you know, you gotta keep playing until you figure out like how it actually works, so that you can do it from imagination. Here are the next 3 heads that I just recently did, and then this is me continuing to work on that set of paintings that I was talking about earlier. Here we are painting poisonous plants, and like, so I'm looking at a bunch of lore around foxglove so that I can get an idea of what I might want to put into the painting. And now I've got, this is the middle of the sketchbook, and I've written down the Inktober prompt list. And I think this year for Inktober, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these prompts with my 100 Fantasy Heads challenge, so that like each of these prompts is going to kind of inform what my fantasy head is going to look like. that is as far as I have gotten in this sketchbook. In the back here, I do always have like a spot for, well, actually, that's a lie. This is new for this sketchbook. I've left a spot for putting like just random ideas that I wanted to capture somewhere. These are just kind of notes that I've found on YouTube videos or TikTok or wherever. And there's always a little swatch page in the back. And then this is a little sticker that I got from a box, upgrade box. And that is the end of the first half of this sketchbook. I am really enjoying working in here. Like I said, I'm working in here very differently than I have in the past. If there are things that you would like to see me draw in here, please let me know and I will consider it. If you just want to say hi in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. Any sort of engagement that you can give me on this video super helps out the channel, and I would very much appreciate it. A thumbs up, a subscribe, you know, share it, whatever, leave a comment. Like I said, even if you just wanted to say hi, I would love to hear from you. I try to respond to all of them. I don't get a lot, so it's pretty easy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye.